Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every major boss I missed in Elden Ring from easiest to hardest. When this game dropped, it was massive from a spatial perspective. Still is, obviously, but the online interactive map wasn't even complete yet when I was trying to locate all the bosses, so I just did as many as I could find on my own. Because of that, I missed a few, and as it turns out, a few damn important ones. So in my stream series, which you can watch highlights of on my channel, I started a new playthrough and found every unique boss, and beat them on my own. No summons, spirits, or cheese. If you haven't seen it, my original boss ranking, I recommend you join the over 2.4 million, people who've eyeballed that and watch it first, link in the description, because this video is basically boss ranking DLC. I'll tell you up front this time who all's in the list. The bosses I'm highlighting here are the ones I have updated opinions of upon rematching them, which is going to be Radon and Maliketh, and then the big ones I missed, which were placidus, Astell, Mog, and Melania. But enough preamble, let's get to some course correction. Starting from easiest and working our way to hardest. Number 6, Astell, Natural Born of the Void. I did not personally find this fight difficult almost at all. This giant Yu-Gi-Oh card takes up an imposing amount of space, but a lot of what he does is just inconsequential as long as you stay near his pincers. His void attacks that paint the air in front of him with explosive dust literally sail right over your head if you're making deep eye contact with him, and when you get the reaction timing on the pincer bites down, you can pretty much let your guard down and waste all your stamina on full combos to his skull. Astell does, however, come with some baked-in cheese in the form of a teleportation grab that will just one-shot you for fun. It's pointless to even try going for a serious crack at the boss until you get the dodge timing on that attack on lock, but I wouldn't say it's that hard. I died to it like 3 times looking like an asshole and said never again. Just make sure you look up when he teleports. He won't always do it, but when he does, he descends from the rafters like Spider-Man on Broadway. He embraces you with his lips like you're MJ, but if you get caught, you're turning into Gwen Stacy. As far as where he'd have gone in the original boss ranking, I'd probably have put him somewhere on the level with the Dragonkin Soldier of Noxtella. Number 5, placidus. Wow, another Yu-Gi-Oh card. Twin-headed Thunder Dragon might be bulkier than a Costco shopping trip, but I beat him on the 3rd try. For the most part, the reactionary stakes aren't very high. You can just wander over to him and roll some occasional lightning strikes while emptying the full load of your stamina bar into the back of his thighs. When he starts ground teleporting, it basically becomes a rhythm game where you have to really watch his tells to know what attack is coming. Otherwise, his glides towards you from across the map can be sprinted horizontally and then rolled at the last second. The part of the battle that can and will put a pin in your pee hole, though, is when he starts as a laser light show, where if you're too far to get in on it, you gotta be laser focused on each beam at the same time for when it'll try and pass through you, and then roll accordingly. I got some clutch rolls in my successful attempt, and then once you do, you're pretty much golden. As far as where he'd go in the original ranking, I'd put placidus at the very edge of the top 10 hardest, maybe just ahead of like the fire giant. Number 4, Radon. On my initial boss ranking playthrough, I just let the NPC summons help out with Radon since it's part of the cinematic experience, and also he laid my ass out a couple times, so I was like, LOL, help me, bots. But this time I soloed him and found out it's not too bad. He's got some mad combos riding atop that poor decrepit donkey of his, but if you stay close enough to the front of him to kiss his ass, some of the swings will go over your head and you can get 3 or 4 consecutive strength weapon hits in during this window. When he disappears to usher in the second phase, just frantically look around until you see what looks like a shooting star hurtling towards you, then pick a direction and walk in it till it's time to roll. Really easy to get away from. After that, the gravity orbs he summons that hover near him and follow him everywhere are actually a bait, because they don't go off unless you're trying to stay away from them. Stay close and you're Gucci. Radon got hit with an unintended nerf at some point that they later fixed, which lowered his damage. I don't know if it was active when I fought him during the stream, but I could tank a couple hits at level 70. I'd keep Radon pretty much where he was in the original ranking though, still just before Godfrey. I can just now say I've beaten him properly. Number 3, Mog. Mog is a bloody bitch of a bastard. This man literally cheats. His combos aren't too bad, just require some trial and error memorization like any combo-oriented Souls boss, but after he spends half the fight putting rings on you like you're Beyonce, he gets to just siphon a bunch of your health for himself in 3 waves of uninterrupted nihils. Dude's a nihilist, for real. Very bleak attitude. Learn to enjoy life for what it is, man. You're the Lord of Blood. That means something out here. Hope your Estus drink comes with free refills, because you'll need them. Apparently there's an item that stops him from doing that, but I didn't bother to Google it, and you don't really need to. It's just annoying that he's gaining health for free. At least Melania has to hit you. As far as where he'd go in the original ranking, I'd put him around number 3 or 4th hardest, where Commander Niall is. But I'd also move Commander Niall like 10 spots backwards, because on my stream playthrough, I fucking demolished him on my first attempt for some reason. Number 2, Maliketh. I still think Maliketh is incredibly hard. Other than the new number 1 spot, he was still my most struggled with boss during the streams. Took like an hour to finally get him after I was getting nowhere on dodging certain attacks. He's so damn slippery, always bouncing in and out of attack range and trying to land quick stun lock hits that just decimate you. The damage over time never stopped being a problem. I got better at catching his landings for punish windows, but I really had to unleash my inner gamer in order to finally win. Number 1, Melania. Validation for many, the true hardest boss in Elden Ring is Melania, to whom the developers decided to give lifesteal and waterfowl dance. You can have one or the other, you armored foot fetish. Both is nonsense. And if we're taking a vote, I'd rather she didn't have waterfowl dance. There were so many runs where a victory was in the cards until she just suspended herself in the sky and granted me death by 1,000 cuts. That move is the kind of move people start entire subreddits trying to figure out how to dodge, pooling their information. Why does it last so damn long? How many rolls does it take, and in what direction, and at what timing? It's impossible to explain other than to watch someone do it successfully, and I wouldn't even recommend myself as that person. If you're far enough away when she starts it, you can sprint away for long enough to spam dodge the final hits. Otherwise, the rhythm I eventually got to mildly work for me was 3 groups of rolls. Right when she's about to land the first strike, you do 3 consecutive rolls, then a brief pause in line with her short cooldown period, then 2 consecutive rolls, then another brief pause, then 2 more rolls. Direction may vary, I never really got it down to a science. The timing feels like it needs to be frame perfect sometimes or you'll still get clipped, but even done sloppily, you can still at least survive occasionally. Waterfowl dance and lifesteal aren't the only arguably unfair mechanics, though. I also hate when bosses who aren't hulking giants get infinite poise whenever they attack. If Melania is in the process of swinging her sword, she cannot be staggered, even by the heaviest bonking tool available. She'll flinch at anything if she's just standing there, but oops, her sword is above her head now, so I guess she weighs 4,000 pounds. Melania is a rotten scarlet whore. She's out here prancing around naked in her second phase as if I can focus on dodging waterfowl dance when I'm too busy gazing at some corrupted titties. That clone attack she does where she sends little toxic ghosts at you is cute, and should be your best attack, because waterfowl dance shouldn't exist, and this boss should not have taken me almost 2 hours to beat. I'm told she resists holy damage, which makes my golden halberd a bit nerfed, but I wasn't really complaining about my own damage. It's just that at any moment she can decide to win. Melania is the hardest boss in Elden Ring, and beyond that, with Elden Ring's advanced boss AI plus all her BS, she's the hardest boss in Souls history. Elden Ring gives you more cheesing tools, but if you took Melania and put her in any other Souls game, she would stand above any other boss, even the triple phasers from Dark Souls 3. So that's gonna do it for this ranking add-on. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino. Watch all my other videos with a bib and a pacifier, and I'll see you guys next time.